Hey everyone, good afternoon. This is Dr. Gwen from the Dr. Gwen International Training and Empowerment Academy and host of the iTunes show, the Dr. Gwen podcast show. I am incredibly grateful for the day. It is chilly here where I am, and of course I'm on the inside feeling quite warm. And very warm in my heart as well because of the season and because of family and friends and all the connections that I tend to stay in touch with. This morning, 2 of the younger daughters arrived, so they'll be here with us for a couple of weeks. And so I'm really excited about that. I hope that I will take advantage of this opportunity and spend some quality time bonding and connecting, as one of them has been gone for about 4 months overseas. So this is the first time that I am seeing them for that length of time. And today, my conversation is twofold. One, I'm feeling really grateful and thankful for the accomplishments that I have been able to work through for this year. Many of the stuff that I have planned are still in the evolutionary stages and developmental stages, and they are arriving to where I want them to be. And I am setting up new plans for whatever is coming for the future, which I'm super excited about. And I'm wondering, just as you reflect on this year and how it has been up to this point, have you felt that you have at least evolved? Maybe you haven't hit all of your goals. I have not. But do you feel as though that you are on a path of growth, personal growth, business growth, life growth, relationship growth, that is expanding and that is taking you into ever wonderful territory? Well, that's the way I feel. And I'm very grateful for the ability to achieve goals and the possibilities of sharing those achievements with others. And one of those things that I'm really grateful about is the publication of my book, this book, Single Moms from Striving to Thriving 101 Success Tips. Now, my topic says, flashes of inspiration. Does it enhance your personal growth? Does it enhance your success? And the reason why I labeled my topic this way is that the actual development of this book was by a flash of inspiration. And also one of my proprietary courses, which I will touch on a little later. But by that flash of inspiration, I was able to sit down and create a set of 101 tips. So this is how it all evolved, right? Because you have flashes of inspiration. And the whole idea of having this conversation today is for you to tune in to those flashes because they mean something. And have you ever dismissed your flashes, your insights that come to you, dismiss them, or simply forget about them and not tune into them? Well, that's why I'm talking to you today, so that you can begin to tune in to those flashes that you get, which are not accident. So I wrote this book, and the book was in a 101 tips format, and it was just 101 tips. I was just giving tips to people. Do this, this is a tip, this is a tip. And I was giving away parts of it through my email system to the people who were on my email list. And the thought came to me, why don't you pick this book back up and take a look at it? So I picked the book back up, And I started reading through the book. And as I read through the book, a number of thoughts came to me. Like, how can you boost this to make it more meaningful to people who are reading it? I don't just want people to read stuff for the sake of reading. I want people to take action stuff, to take away stuff that's going to benefit their lives. So as I was reading through it, I thought, someone who doesn't know how to do this tip may not have a clue. It may be useless to them. And then that inspiration, that flash of inspiration came to me that I need to bolster the book, go back through it, look at all the tips, and flesh them out. So whereas some of the tips were this tiny, then I made them like this big, because now they had all of the exercises, not necessarily full exercises, though there are exercises on the online format. I'll tell you about that. But there were practical steps that people could actually take to implement those tips in their lives. So here comes this book, and it's currently on Amazon. And actually, what I notice is that the folks who are reading it are reaching out to me and telling me how wonderful an inspiration that they have had. I just met a lady. I haven't really met her. I spoke to her on the phone, and she called me while I was in the middle of the pre-launch. And I said, well, I would love to talk to you. Why don't we set up a time? This week, I'm very actively pre-launching the book, and, I could chat with you sometime later. She said, oh, I want to buy your book. And I thought, okay, I will let you know when it's available. So I told her on Friday, and she bought the book. And she sent me an email about how it was great and how uplifting it was. So I said, would you mind leaving me a review on Amazon? And she went and did that. And then I looked at all the other reviews, and it made me think of this topic here today, that when you have a flash of inspiration, don't dismiss it as something trivial or accidental. Because I did that. This was actually written like 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I wrote it, and it was sitting in my file. And I thought, every mom knows this stuff. I want to bring deep value to people's life. I didn't think this was deep enough value, so I left it there. But when I listened to that flash, dusted it off, bolstered it up, then I find that it's touching other people's lives. So there's another book that I've actually written, or have been in the process of writing, and just was inspired to go out, get a new cover design, which I have done, and that book is almost done. But I still think I'm going to dress it up a little bit, so it probably won't be available for the next 90 days or more. However, that next book will be coming out. That, too, was a flash of inspiration. Now, my friends, what I'm saying to you is this. What flashes of inspiration have you gotten in your life that you are dismissing? Are you pleased with what you achieved so far this year? Do you feel like you have made the strides you need to make? If your answer is yes, yippee, wonderful, great. If your answer is no, then what might you have ignored? What might you have overlooked in the process that could have gotten you to step 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, or the next step in what you're doing? Now, I talked about a course that I developed, and this is a proprietary course. It is my actual coaching program. What I do is I help women develop clarity, and I help them to shatter self-limiting beliefs in their lives, their relationships, and their work. And this proprietary system that I developed, I actually sat on this chair in this office one day, and I opened up a piece of literature, and then it was as though a flood of downloads started coming to me in my mind. And I grabbed a pen and paper and I started to write as quickly as I could. I mean, I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And then when I stopped, what I realized was there was a model that came out of what came to me. The ACT, Breakthrough Success System. That is the foundation of the coaching that I use with people. Now, that download came, and it was, of course, an outgrowth of all of the experiences and all the successes I had in my life. But had I dismissed it again, or had I put it aside and say, okay, no, I will pay attention to it later, it would have left me. So here is my point. It's a long way to get to a point, but this is a great point. When you are out and about, and I've said this already, get yourself a small notebook or get yourself a download of an audio speaker from your phone and speak into it. Those thoughts, those flashes that come to you, those flashes are the exact things you may need to get you to where you need to get to. So my friends, in this short conversation today, if I want you to step away with anything, this is what I want you to step away with. Pay attention to your flashes of inspiration. They may not seem as though they're inspiration to you right now, but really they are. Write them down, whether they make sense to you or not. Write them down. So what idea or what thought came to you recently that you have dismissed? If you have dismissed it, let me tell you the way it has worked for me. Maybe it's better for you, but for me, when I dismiss those flashes, I forget. They just flitter away and they're gone. But I have learned from all of that now. And so I keep my pen and paper handy in my purse, by my bedside, or I keep my cell phone with that speaker, and I will speak my download into those devices or write it down so I can capture it. So as we move into 2017, my friends, I'm going to be talking a little bit about setting goals and getting yourself set up for that. And actually, I probably won't do a full live training here, but what I will do is direct you to a live free training that I have on my course platform that I think will be quite beneficial for you in helping you to set those goals that are powerful and strategic so that you can make active steps towards achieving them. So I'm going to leave you for here and for now, and I want you to remember this, that you are very, very special. You are here for a very special reason. You are not accident. Nothing in you is accident. Every fiber of your being is here to support the whole system and to bring about that level of elevation in humanity that only you can give and only you can do. So, my friends, knowing that nothing that happens in your life is an accident, and no thought that flashes across your mind of inspiration is an accident, then I encourage you to take an active role in your life and to make it a part of everyday actions that you will begin to capture those things that come to you, because you never know how that will transform the very life you so direly desperately want to transform. And more than anything else, you may never know the level of transformation that you will be bringing to the life of another human being as you touch it. So this is Dr. Gwen, empowering lives to live purposefully and passionately.